is what's her name?
Bro, I'm jealous of your grind, dude. I don't mean to cut you off, but like, my God, man, you are still like clearing them. You watch Unfriended?
I told you my horror month was honestly kind of like
what the. I was gonna say, what the were you on with your horror month?
Yeah,
you, like,
it was all over the place, wasn't it?
All right, so you.
Welcome to the Some Damn Movies podcast. Just a heads up, we don't shy away from spoilers. Here's your warning for the following movies: Suspiria, Malignant, the Scream series, the Terrifier series, Joker 2, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Blair Witch Project, Carrie, Friday the 13th series, Woman of the Hour, We Live in Time, Grown Ups 1 and 2, Little Giants, Running on Empty, Halloween, and Studio Ghibli movies.
All right, welcome to Some Damn Movies. I'm your beautiful, beautiful host, Jared, and next to me we have my boy Ian. After a long hiatus, he's finally back.
It's been a long one.
This is episode 5 of your favorite movie podcast of two movie noobs that just love to watch movies and talk about them. So yeah, we had some homework last time. It's been a little bit since we've last talked. Let's, talk about what our homework was from our last episode. I believe I suggested you finally watch Malignant, and you suggested to me that I should watch Suspiria 2018. All right? Am I right?
Yes, that was the recommendation. So I think when this episode comes out, not to like let everything out of the bag, we definitely pre-record these like most people do. We're kind of rounding out a Halloween. I think we kind of went into November doing a little bit of Halloween stuff, and now we're kind of rounding it out here in December, so we can prep for Christmas time, which is going to be so great. I love Christmas movie season, but let's not go into that.
Ooh, I actually
it's going to be a great.
Wanted to ask you, since you were away, real quick, how's your like setup whenever you're watching movies on the road?
Oh, it's the most rank, dude.
Yeah.
So like it's either on my MacBook or like a laptop, but like honestly, Jess got me. So I have an e-reader holder for my bed.
Oh,
so
that's cute.
like it's a bougie. It's actually like a low key, like it's a dope setup.
Yeah.
Where I just use it's meant to like just hold your phone or your e-reader. While you're in bed, like an arm, and it just like puts it right in front of your face. And then she got me a little clicker remote, so it will turn the page for me, so I can just be lounging on the bed and never have to like touch the screen.
Tony has the same setup for her Kindle.
Bro, it's that's what I use it for. Yeah. It's dope. And so what I do is I'll just like put my phone up there and I'll just watch it. I'll just like hook it in, and it's just like right here in front of my face watching it. So that's my normal setup, which is it's just very easy, very lean to do that. Homework though was Malignant. I don't even get what James Wan does anymore, man. I really don't. For those who don't know, Malignant is I don't know how many movies now for good old Mr. James Wan. I believe he did direct it. I don't think he just. I saw a producer. He's
doing a lot of producing these days, but this was like finally his first. I think his first film I would like.
And I think it was kind of put up I think it was portrayed to me like kind of like a passion project kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was James Wan, which is weird because it's not good. It is like, it's not good. It's like good in the not good kind of way. It's that like, it's enjoyable and it's a good, bad movie. Man, it's like all. So for those who don't know, we also just, if you're new, we don't care about spoilers. There should have been like a pre-roll for it. Just reminding you. Yeah. Malignant is a story about a woman who you find out is in an abusive relationship, has her head slammed against a wall, and then it awakens her twin brother that lives inside of her skull. And, and he's like this evil twin serial killer brother that like embodies her. That is definitely a spoiler, and I gave you a warning because like when you find that out, it's kind of nuts. Also, I I kind of really dug how they like portrayed him. That was super cool. Like the body horror about it, whenever like comes out of the head, I'm not usually into that, but like they shot it in such a way that it actually looked like whenever the brother took over, he like ran, like she was running backwards. So to paint the picture, this woman, the back of her head is where this brother like lives, I guess, essentially. And it like the back of her head splits open and he takes over her body, but like in the opposite direction a lot of times. Like they portray it like she is running backwards, like her body morphs to him and he takes full control. And I actually really thought that was cool. Like those effects, like making it look like that was like nuts. And like, but the story is just like, what the fuck? Like some of the, like, I remember, which it's been a minute now since I've watched it. Which if you want to watch it, it's on HBO Max. I don't know. I hate to say that I barely remember the story other than her trying to figure out who this killer was. I think like the big twist is that it's the brother inside of her and you don't know it for like the first half, and then she takes over. Then all of a sudden, like by the end of it, they like go back to like not the insane asylum, but this like specialized hospital that her sister, I think, or best friend, like kind of explains a lot of the exposition. It's just like, hey, like this is what happened, yada yada. It's her, and she ends up just, it's a very tropey, like she's like, oh, I have the power too. And then she wrestles the power back away from her malignant brother that lives inside of her head. And I think just imprisons him. I don't think he's gone, but the story is not like that deep. Mm-hmm. It's really, you're there for the effects. And I would actually say that like a lot of the action, the effects, like the actual like set pieces, I guess, like staging. I don't know how you'd want to describe it, but like that was really cool. But the actual story is just like, it's baloney. It's just like that's what I took away from it. That's what I'll take away, and that's where I'll leave it. That I'm pretty mid on it. Yeah.
I think that's probably where I was with it too when I first watched it. I was like, it's fun. It's like, it wasn't very good, and it was like crazy looking, and it was entertaining. There was like some cool shots and some cool like effects and stuff, but like other than that, it was like, this is James Wan post Aquaman. This is, I think, his first. I think it was during COVID too, so I think he just wanted to make something fun because he just made all that fucking money from Aquaman. And I think they just let him sort of run wild on his vision, because since then he's been producing a ton of stuff.
Honestly, I think Aquaman changed him. Because I think there's just like, he's okay. James Wan has never been some like stellar like Academy Award winning director. Maybe he is an Academy Award winning director. He's been more of like a horror campy sort of director. I mean, the biggest one being The Conjuring, right? He did the first Conjuring, maybe the second one too. I think he did, or he has a producer credit on it. He had Dead Silence, right? It was the first one he ever did. He has made waves and has been pretty influential.
Was his first one.
Which one?
Saw 1.
Oh, is Saw 1 James Wan? He did that?
Yeah. It was written by the Lee Whannell guy, and he's the one that writes most of them. And then I think he ended up executive producing.
Oh, that was James Wan. Holy shit!
And then he did Dead Silence, and then Death Sentence, and then the first Insidious. The first Conjuring, the second Insidious, Furious 7, Conjuring 2. And then after that, it's just where he is now with Aquaman and Malignant.
Here's what I will say. In all honesty, I think I genuinely enjoy movies. Like, they're not, like I said, they're not the best, but I at least go into a James Wan movie and I think, oh, I'll probably think this is okay. Mm-hmm. Whereas, I will not say the same thing about Eli Roth. Usually I will, like, Eli Roth will pop up and I'll be like, I think I'm not going to watch this movie. And to think, I don't want to go into too far into that, but I'm not trying to punch up, I guess, on James Wan. I think James Wan is having a perfectly fun time.
Yeah,
doing James Wan things.
Yeah, I think he has a really good eye and vision for horror. Like, I think there's a lot of great horror elements that he includes in his stuff, and I think like the camera work in his movies are pretty neat, and like the overall aesthetic I think is pretty good. Like, they all look professionally done. Like, they don't look like, I think the performances are normally pretty good too. I mean, Saw 1 I still love. Insidious I'm pretty sure I still like. I forget the last time I saw that one, but I remember really liking it. And then I'm a big fan of the Conjuring series. I think the last one was but the first one I think the first 2 are great.
I think the first 2 people kind of shit on me, and I will say, like, in defense of those opinions, I think the whole like the Marvel treatment of making everything a cinematic universe kind of ruined a lot of things. The Conjuring being one of them.
Yeah.
The third one wasn't that great, but like the first 2, I side with you there. I think they were a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, I mean that's how I like Levi James. I look forward to watching his next movie, even if it is just kind of like good bad. He has fun with the good bad. So, but I want to hear about your thoughts on Suspiria. I know we kind of before this, you say you didn't have a whole lot to talk about on it, but like, let me hear about it.
So this is a remake of I think a cult classic of a 1977 Italian film of the same. This one's directed by Luca Guadagnino. I don't know how to say his name, but he's of Call Me by Your Name fame, as well as like Bones and All, and then one of this year's best films challengers. And then I guess he's a new one's coming out, Queer, starring Daniel Craig. So that one I'm actually really excited for. I do really like this director. I think he's great. This one I think visually looks really great. The sound design and the score is awesome. The music's done by Tom York of Radiohead fame.
I didn't know that it was. Yeah. I did not know Tom York did the music for this.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And like
I liked it. I just didn't know Tom York.
Yeah. So this one stars Dakota Johnson, who's just like an American woman that travels to go to one of the top like dance, like a prestigious like dance academy that is ran by a coven of witches, basically. That's pretty much it. And it's just this.
I mean, you have some good actors in here.
Oh yeah, I mean, like Tilda Swinton. We got
Tilda Swinton here.
Maya
Goth.
Yeah,
Maya Goth's in here.
Yeah, I mean, the Chloe Grace Moretz is the runaway dancer that in the beginning of the movie
she's only in there for a second,
and he's the one that I think ends up like sort of uncovering some stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's good. Like, I don't know. It's just I think at the time when I watched it, it wasn't something I wanted. It was just it was long. It was like slow paced and it's just very artsy. I do like the the over the top violence. I thought was really neat. And like the colors of the film are very like neutral, like very bleak and which is, I guess, the opposite of the original film, which had like these really explosive colors and stuff like that. So at least he sort of differentiated himself from the original, which I do want to take a look at the original. I did start watching it a little bit after we finished this one. I think it's been almost like a month since I watched this. So again, I don't really have too much to say about it. I just kind of felt like it was a little boring, and I don't know. I didn't really connect with it at the time, so I might have to give it another watch. This would be... I had already watched it before, but I forgot a lot about it, and so this was my second watch. I would still recommend it, but just, I don't know. It's a little slow and a little too bleak for my taste at that time. So
I think that's the biggest thing to... What? I've definitely seen it, yeah. I think I liked it quite a bit, and I actually... so it's gonna be weird. I think I liked the slow burn of it. There is like, just because of how crazy the ending is. The ending just like talk about like percolating up until like this explosive, like I wouldn't even call it climax. Like there's not even like, there is no like, it's like rising tension to the movie, and then boom, it just like sets off, and heads will blow up and whatnot. And you uncover so much. And I think like what feels like maybe the last 20 minutes, I do think though there is, if memory serves, there was quite a bit of just like downtime that we didn't need. Like it could have tightened it up maybe. However, I think they just wanted to kind of bask in the shots and
which looked great.
And like the like like I would say like this movie shines on just like cinematography, everything from the lighting, from like their use of color. Like it's a great watch. It's just there are some scenes where I'm like, this looks awesome, but what are we doing right now?
Yeah,
like, where's it going from here? It looks great though, but like where are we going with it? Especially because like the end, when, again, spoilers, when you find out like Dakota Johnson is like the head witch of like the, not even the witch, like the demon. She's like the mother of them all.
She's the top one. Mother Suspiria or something.
Yeah, she is Mother Suspiria. And then so like the whole premise of the movie is that this Tilda Swinton, like the teacher Tilda Swinton, she is she brings all these girls that like learn to be witches through dance, and she's very like, it's a very prestigious school. Her main goal is to find a vessel for her mother to like take over in a ritual. And Dakota Johnson's character is that person, and at the end they think they've got her hook, line, and sinker, which I think that was what they were getting at with Chloe Grace Moretz, her character, and then she kind of escapes, and then you find out she doesn't escape. So you see that happen, and they think they've got her, and then she's like, "Oh, by the way, bitches, I'm the head bitch in charge," and she's like, "Pop, pop, pop!" Like the whole last 5 minutes is just like fucking one taps the movie, where it's just like, yep, and now your head explodes, and now your head explodes, and now your head explodes, and like I'm also like, look at this, like I got you. Like was a nutty. I mean, it was a twist. I did not expect it whatsoever, but not because it was clever. It's like at no point in time was I like, oh, this is where they're going to go with this, right? I think like a good twist is like it'll hint at maybe subverting your expectation, or like, oh, this could be it. This just comes out of left field in a good way. It's fun, but like it's also like a 3-hour movie. Like it doesn't.
It's a lot.
It could have. It could have tightened up.
Yeah,
and that's why I think of it.
I wanted to point out like the mirror scenes I thought were really neat. I really liked those scenes. It was again just, I think at the time I just haven't been able to connect with it. And I like slow paced movies, but this one just like it's already so bleak and just dark, and I don't know. I didn't love it. I liked it, just didn't love it. Which again, it's okay.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I think I liked it a little more just because of the shots, like the ending just like blew my mind. Just because I wasn't there, but like I definitely could see people just be like, yeah, I'm kind of mid on it. I think out of the movies that, well, because I've watched Call Me by Your Name, I think Call Me by Your Name is like infinitely better. Like I'm also not a horror guy. I like me a good love story. So
yeah, I mean, it ended up being one of my. Call Me by Your Name is one of my favorite films. So.
Yeah. I mean, I still think he cooked though on this one. I think he left some crumbs, but by all means he was eating a little bit.
Yeah. So on more topic of horror movies, I thought we could sort of wrap up our horror month and talk a little bit about some of our favorite watches for the 2024 season. What'd you get into this month?
Okay, I'll start this off. So when I decided to watch this Halloween season, I have a whole list, but the one I want to focus on this, like in particular, is a movie that kind of a series really that just like I never really saw the appeal of, so I wanted to expose myself to it, and that is the Terrifier trilogy. It was in theaters at the time. I did manage to go and see it in theaters, the third one, and I don't even know how to describe it. I kind of see the appeal behind the movie. So for those who don't know, Terrifier is a movie series, a trilogy by a man named David Leone, who it follows a clown, a monochromatic, just white and black, like mime-esque clown that his name is Arthur Clown, and he murders a bunch of people in extremely grotesque ways. As far as the story goes, he is sort of like the harbinger of a demon. Like there's a demon that like he works for essentially. He is not a demon, I don't think outright. Maybe he is, but like in the lore, there's like another one he's working for that like he helps out. And like that's like kind of their bond. You're not here for the story. Just gonna say that. You're not here for the story, you're here for the kills. And on that note, I will say a few of them, like there's one in particular I cannot shake. And not because it was just like, damn, like how do you do this? Like how do you think of this? And where would I want to go with this? So the Terrifiers kind of come up because it was sort of, I don't even know if you can call it a cult classic. I guess you can, just because of how much it's not like a big, and which is part of it. It's like kind of been like a grassroots success. Mm-hmm. Notably, I already have the stats up, but like Terrifier 1, like the budget, and this came out of Damien Leone's pocket, was $35,000. He ended up netting, or the gross box office total was $416,000. So he had a nice little snowball going. The second one, Terrifier 2, which came out in 2022, $250,000 budget, rolls out $15.7 million.
Holy shit!
Like, homie cooked.
Let's go.
Terrifier 3, budget $2 million, gross box office $55 million.
Oh wow!
So like the thing is like they are extremely successul for how like low of a budget it is. Like I would say these are definitely like B movie-esque from beginning to end. Like do not go in there thinking they are very campy, but I personally, they're not for me. Okay. And I think the more fascinating part about this, especially in regards to Terrifier 3, is like how successful Terrifier 3 was, right? We're talking about $53 million in profit at the box office. At the box office, right? I don't even think you might be able to rent it, but I only have numbers for like box office profit and like gross. Same time, like as Joker Folie Do, which came out, they were the same time. And mind you, Terrifier 3 is NC-17. So not only is it in theaters, which like I guess like people are going to them now, but now like the theater that I went to and multiple theaters with NC-17 were enforcing that like even if you came in with your like a guardian and you weren't 17 years old, you weren't allowed to go in. Like multiple theaters that I went by, like were enforcing that. Like they were IDing everybody. I got ID'd to go watch this fucking movie, dude. Both me and my buddy. So what I'm saying is like to go and see this movie like in the movie theater wasn't just like, hey, give me a ticket, right? And Joker Folie Do, approximately $200 million budget. And it looks like it barely scraped by with $201 million in the box.
Failure.
Like
they lost money. That's losing money.
Yeah, because that's not even talking about like marketing, right? Like the marketing budget doesn't really get accounted into that, like into monies. Like it's unknown. Which I mean, when you have Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga in there, like you're spending like you're spending a lot.
This is my theory at play again. As soon as you give these motherfuckers, and especially Todd Phillips, come on, this is Hangover Boy. Yeah. Which like as soon as you give this guy more money, look what happens. Like the first movie was a cool 55 million to 70 million. It made $1 billion, and then the sequel has like almost quadruple the budget and it makes 200 million. That's brutal. Wow.
Well, I don't even know what happened to cause this other than like, and this is me kind of going away from Terrifier. The big thing I want to bring up about Terrifier, let me try to knock this out before we go into this, is like an example of like, now did every like tattoo parlor probably close down for a couple days so everyone could go see Terrifier? Yes, because that's kind of the audience. It's like the outcast. There's like, which I'm just talking shit, I guess, a little bit, but it is like there is a fucking type that goes and watches these movies. Like that. I'm not just saying watches them, right? I'm talking about like that, like, it's kind of like the Rob Zombie fan universe. Like when they're like those, like that whole crowd of people that just identify so heavily, or just so not identify, but they just like are so like taken and consumed by like these really gory horror. It's not even, I wouldn't even call it horror. I'll be real. Like Terrifier is not scary. Terrifier is just gruesome. The first movie has a scene where a woman is naked hanging by her feet, and then he takes a hacksaw and cuts down, straight down from, top to bottom, just exactly like you would think, right? It's not scary. It's just like, damn, like, holy shit, that is nuts. And the scene I was talking about in Terrifier 3, that just like how you even think of like these deaths are like, they just put every hack and slash movie to shame. Like you think about like stuff like Jason taking a kid inside of a sleeping bag and slamming him against a tree, and how it's funny. It's like there's a scene where the protagonist in the third movie, her aunt is tied to a chair, and I just keep thinking about it like every other day it like pops up whenever I see Terrifier. It's like the one thing I took away from it is like she is tied to a chair, and Art plus the demon girl from the first movie, which she was a victim of his, and then a demon possessed her. They tie this woman to a chair. They take like a clear PVC pipe, and then they put it in her mouth, and then they take a mallet and then they smash it into her mouth to like elongate it and dislocate her jaw and everything. Then they put a rat in it, and then he takes a blowtorch and makes the rat go inside, kind of like what they do with the box or whatever, to make him eat through, like they're looking for an escape. So the rat then goes inside of the woman's mouth and is like just like in there trying to get away, and then they slit her throat. And I'm like, how did you even think of that? Like, honestly, like Damien Leone, like it's kind of like there's a few things I've exposed myself to in the last like month where I'm like, there's a like, Tyler, I'm going to quote this too when I do my next episode of which you should all watch it, Spicy Book Club. But there's there's a book I read for that. It's like, I wouldn't even call it a book, but there's a quote from Tyler, the Creator, that's very relevant. And it's that it was in regards to artificial intelligence. And he said, artificial intelligence only knows where I have been, not where I am going. And that might sound a little pretentious, but like I kind of agree with it, because I would have never gotten there, and I don't think AI would have ever gotten there. I don't think it's actually possible that AI would have been like, yeah, I am going to do that to kill this person. Like if you told them to write a Terrifier movie, maybe now, but Damien Leone is on some shit. And I will say, to the series' credit, like the practical effects are super cool. Like there is definitely CGI in here, even in places where you wouldn't expect it. But as far as just like practical effects and just trying to make it look like overly grotesque, it definitely was a fucking roller coaster. I was like, God damn, like I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. Yeah, I think there's gonna be there's a fourth one too. I liked it. And now to bring it back to like the Joker part, this guy like spent $35,000 to make this like B movie, and now he's just like He's cashing checks, dude. Like homie's like, and for some reason Todd Phillips, I just don't even know what happened of a Joker Folie do, but it got outperformed by Terrifier, an NC-17 B movie. Apples to Apples did way better margins than Joker Folie do, which I thought was going to be good, and that was honestly the most interesting part about the whole like Terrifier and Joker thing, was just like what happened to where Joker. What happened? I don't get it because everyone seemed like they were hyped about it.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure Terrifier is still in the theaters here, but I don't think the Joker is, which is kind of funny.
No, yeah, it wrapped up. Same with whatever Francis Ford Coppola's like Megalopolis.
Yeah, Megalopolis. Yeah, I still haven't seen that.
I want to see it.
I want to see it. I didn't get a chance to see it yet, but
I wanted to as well. But like. Which I'm not trying to knock on Francis Ford Coppola, man. Like
everything I've read about it just seems like it's divisive. I'll go.
I have no clue what to expect.
Yeah.
It looks like some like I don't know. It looks like some Atlas Shrugged shit. Like I don't know. It's giving me Atlas Shrugged vibes. I don't know.
I'm excited for these last couple of months of the year because this is where I start like sort of wrapping up and getting into the Oscar season, which I'm excited that we have a podcast now that we can do Oscar shit. So,
I need to like to try to get on. We need to make a list for that. That'll have to be homework.
Yeah, that'll probably be a month plus from now. So we'll be fine. But there's some stuff that we definitely got to watch. Yeah. So, are you suggesting Terrifier to the masses, the little kids?
Definitely if you're a little kid. If you have a small child, you should definitely you're not going to be able to bring them to the theater, but they're both on. No. That's what I'm saying. They carded everybody. NC-17 is like the one rating where like even with an adult, like or adult consent, they won't let you in.
Is that the first NC-17 movie in a long time? Probably like that's gotten mass like.
Oh yeah, I mean I can't think of the only other one that came out was the one with Ana de Armas, which was the one about holy crap.
I don't even know what you're talking about, Ana de Armas.
No, it was on Netflix. It was the what's her face? Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, Blonde?
Yeah, it's NC-17.
Oh.
I'm like 99% certain. Like, let me look it up.
That's on Netflix too. Sweet.
Yeah.
Might watch that tomorrow then on the Pelly. Sweet.
I'm looking it up right now. Where's the ranking or the rating? Doesn't it show us the rating?
Blonde rating.
On details.
NC-17 rating?
Plan B Entertainment. Knowing what is in there and why it gets an NC-17 rating does make that
some sexual content.
Yeah, because there's a part where she, I believe, gets
R-worded.
And I believe it's by.
And it says a vaginal point of view shot. What is that? What?
I don't even know what that means. Why? Wait, how is Letterboxd not going to have the rating on here?
Well, this is a good just a Google search with the AI overview is what I'm looking at.
Is it NC-17?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought you looked at. Well, all right, let me look this up. What is?
Yeah, it says right here. It's Netflix's first NC-17.
Yeah. So aside from Terrifier, that is the only other NC-17 movie that I have heard of coming out. And they don't really get a whole lot of traction because again, like it's not even just a simple like, oh, I'm putting out NC-17. It's like NC-17, like there's a reason why people try to get that PG-13 rating. And it's because like while we love it, right? Like you're trying to get like the widest net out there to catch viewers, right? And who goes to most movies? Maybe not anymore, but it was teenagers, right? So like the PG-13 like horror movies and stuff used to be like guaranteed like, you know, money makers. And I think R has become more accessible to a lot of viewers because a lot of like just adults are going to like would go to movies, right? And they prefer a more mature one, but like a more mature movie. But like NC-17 was like kind of taboo, not because of the content, but like just in a business sense, because you're like, now, like, if you're going to put this in theaters, like, no one's going to go and see it because you have to be over 17. And usually, yeah. So that's why, like, Terrifier, I mean, I think the movies are kind of mid. They're like, you're going there for one reason, but I'm not going to lie, like, very impressive, like, box office, like, revenue. Like, and again, especially compared to Joker, like, Joker just got dominated by Damien Leone's brainchild.
I don't even think, are you even excited, or are you even going to bother watching Joker 2?
I will watch it when it's free on whatever platform.
I'll probably
not even free, when it's included in my subscription.
Yeah.
For something like, it's kind of mind boggling for Joker, because like people wouldn't shut up about the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watched it, I was like, it's good. But like, I kind of am like over the DC movies because they don't really know what they're doing. Like, again, you have Todd Phillips out here doing his own thing with Joker.
Mm-hmm.
You have James Wan in the DC universe doing, well, not just James Wan, right? But like that, like the whole Zack, holy crap.
Snyder?
Yeah, the whole Zack Snyder like universe, and now it's going to James Gunn.
Yeah.
Right. So that's cool. But like they're not cohesive. They're nowhere, and they never will be anywhere near the MCU. So I just have no clue what they're doing. And that's why like the Joker, the original, was kind of good in its own like vein. Like, it was, oh, cool, little one shoot, but I never wanted like a sequel, nor would I like, how can you have a Joker without a Batman? Which I guess there is like supposed to be a Batman cameo. I don't know. It's a big question mark, but I know everyone loves the Penguin show.
Yeah.
And it just ended.
Reviews.
I actually kind of do want to watch that now, especially because I liked the Penguin in the movie.
Yeah.
I think that they did really well with that. Christina Melody is playing the Falcone
really like her,
lady.
yeah.
I'm a big fan of her ever since I say a big fan, but ever since like How I Met Your Mother, even though they did her dirty.
Yeah, she deserved to be in that show a little bit longer. I wish they really built her on more, but
yeah, but everything I see her in, I really like it.
Yeah.
So color me interested.
Sweet.
However, Joker Folie do, we'll see what it's like. We'll do an episode on that.
Yeah.
All right, bud. Talk about let's talk about your what you've been watching.
So horror.
How did you round out your horror watches?
Man, I wish I watched a little bit more during my horror month. I ended up having to travel for a couple of days, so I didn't watch any movies during that time. Yeah, I watched just a bunch of random stuff. I watched like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then I also watched the newest Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is complete ass. It's really, really, really bad. Don't even bother, please. Some other stuff I sprinkled in during my month was like the Faculty from '98, which I thought was pretty fun. The original, or not the original, but the 2002 The Ring holds up. I thought it was fantastic, actually. It was really good. And then I finally watched, you'll be surprised about this, the original Blair Witch Project. I finally watched it.
Oh, wait, you've never watched it before?
No.
I thought we had talked about it.
I've
Okay.
never watched
So you
it.
were going to talk about, okay.
I'm going to still talk about what I'm going to talk about, but I won't get too far into it.
I want to uncover that for a minute. Like, let's talk about that. Okay. So you finally watched the Blair Witch, which I could have swore we had watched. No, we never watched it together, but I thought we had taled about it. Okay.
I watched the newer one, the 2016 version, which I think is ass.
Yeah, it was bad. That's
this
for
one
all the non.
I honestly think is incredible.
The first one?
Yeah, I think the original is incredible. I can see why it really took off when it came out, and I'm actually really upset that I wasn't around or old enough, I guess, to really get into the whole universe around it at that time. It would have been so fun.
So I kind of got a taste of it because I'm a little older than you, like by 6 months, 8 months or something like that. But I had a couple cousins that were probably have about 6 or probably 5 or 6 years on me. And when it was coming out, I remember being in New Jersey. My dad had bought like an IBM computer. We had internet. And I remember them, like, they came to visit and they were like talking about it. Like they were caught up in like the atmosphere and like the legend, this like myth of the Blair Witch. And especially because like they were from, like, these were my West Virginia family. Like they were there on like the border of Kentucky. So they're like, oh yeah, like they were talking about it. I remember getting like some of that and then watching it years later. And then if you read about like the making of the movie, you don't have to go super into that, but like, there was some interesting things that they did. Because I don't think all of the actors, if memory serves, I don't think the actors were like fully in on it, or they weren't. I know they weren't in on what they were doing to them. They knew they were making a movie, I believe, but like, you know, like what is it? What the scene when they're in the tent and then they like paint, or they have like they paint all over on the tent, like when they wake up and they have all the signs on it. They didn't tell them like shit like that, and they didn't tell them when they were making noises and stuff. So like they would like. The director would like give them like general direction, and then they would just fuck with them the whole time, or like I say fuck with them, like they purposely they just messed with them, like they just tried to keep them in the dark so they could get like a genuine reaction out of them, which I just think is so cool, because that'd be so hard to do, because like how do you like to like guide and get the product of, because you only get that shot once. You only get it once, because once they know about it, it's done. And of course they had to leave them, they had to like tell them about some of it, but like it was mostly this. They knew, I think, how it was going to end. They knew what they were making. They just didn't tell them how they were going to be like messing with them. So, and I just think that's really cool.
Just a lot of clever filmmaking. Movie. It's late 90s, and I think they really hit out
all on like a fucking Sony Handycam. Not even a Handycam, dude. It's like it's literally, I have one downstairs that
film, right?
Yeah, it would have been like a film. It was like fucking like
35
what?
mil,
like yeah. Well, no, I don't even think it was 35 mil. I think we're talking about like, because this was like 2000. I think it was like a cheap ass, like where those hi-fi
high 8 camcorders.
Yeah. Like those high 8 camcorder where you had to like take they had a cassette for the cassette that you'd put in them. Like that shit was like, it was fucking ancient. Like you had to film it on that, and then you have to edit it in, I don't know how you edit that. I think they had to use like a digital editor at that point, which would have been really expensive, but like you had to transfer that shit to an actual film, right? So like to edit it down, like that's the only way I think you would be able to do it, right? Is like to record it onto that like high 8, then duplicate it onto like film, and then cut it up however you want.
Yeah, I mean, again, I thought like. So, for example, I think what went wrong with like the newer one compared to the OG was, I think they had far too many characters in it. It was like the original had 3. That's it, which is like the perfect, like it's the rule of odds. Yeah. And it just works. 3 people, you don't have to. There's not too many people to follow around. The newer one, I think, they do too much. I'm pretty sure they have like a drone and shit, and like it's too much. This one, like they just have a couple cameras and they just fuck with them for many days. You don't see the witch or whatever.
Never. Well, yeah, you never see her.
Never. But in I think if I remember correctly, the new one you just see shit all the time, or at least you do. You see it a lot more often than you saw in the original. And it was just they went too far, and you can tell it's just like it's a 2016 movie that like Blair Witch I thought was perfectly paced. It's a nice like 80-minute movie. It's super tense, and it's like it kept me sucked in the entire time. And I'm really upset that I didn't watch it years ago, because it probably would have been my favorite found footage at the time. It might be now, honestly. I don't know. I'll have to watch
it. Paranormal Activity. Like, I know. So I will stand by that. Like, it's not like Paranormal Activity is not as good. Like I will say that I think Paranormal Activity. I think the Blair Witch Like the Blair Witch just set such a high bar that I don't think anything can hit it. Like that movie is actually feels like you stumbled upon a video cassette like recorder and you just popped it into like your television. You could honestly theme a party around that. Like you could just go and like act like you did. It would be perfect. You could, if no one had ever watched, I would love to do that. I want to find someone. I could have done, well, you're too into films, but it would be so funny to like with Sebastian, like when he gets a little older and he can like handle stuff like that and like put it on like just someone who's never heard of the Blair Witch Project. Like, yo, I actually found this like DVD that like just got released. You could prank them so hard by putting it in there like, bro, this is from like back in the day. Pop that bad boy into any player, put it on like some shitty like looking CD, just put like a cover on it so it looks like it's some generic like video, and then just show it to them and they would think it's found footage. Like I feel like you can't get any more found footage in that movie. That being said, so everyone's gonna be like, oh, like Paranormal Activity just copied it. It's not. They're in the same genre. It's not fucking copying it.
Yeah.
Just for anyone who might say that, it's not copying it. It's two different ideas, right? It's I still stand by like Paranormal Activity after like the second one. I like the third one too, but the third one starts to really falter. But the first one is still such a fun ride.
Yeah.
Such a good ride. But it still doesn't hit that high that Blair Witch does.
Yeah,
Blair Witch is also slow.
Yeah.
Like Blair Witch is like, it is slow.
Blair
it's almost
Witch
like borderline
feels
documentary.
Like, I think it honestly has that like a very real tone to it that, again, I think the more modern one definitely does not hit in any way. Like the performances like honestly feel like it's just straight out of like the camera. Like it feels like it's just three like friends that like just stumbled upon some shit and they went to go shoot for this like this urban legend in that area that they were interested in. They wanted to make a film around it and then they just got lost. And then they just go insane for a couple of days. And it was awesome. I loved it. I was a big fan. So I'm again upset that I did not watch it years ago. Yeah, 100% recommend it. Yeah. So
I love that you watched it finally. That's the biggest thing. I love that you watched it.
There's a couple other things that I watched. Like I watched the original Carrie, amazing. Just some of the best shots I've seen in a long time. Obviously a movie from the 70s, but I don't know. I've been in a weird mode where I feel like I haven't seen anything that really like dropped my pants down and made me want to touch myself, but this there's a lot of in Carrie that I like. Some of the shots I thought were nuts and amazing. So
I don't think I've ever fully watched the original Carrie. I don't even think I've watched the remake with Chloe. But I've seen like the scene. I've seen and I've seen more than just the scene. I've seen like parts of it, but I don't think I've ever sat down and just watched the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean the build up to that is a little like at points feels a little too much, a little too slow, but like I think once you get to that like last 30 minutes or so, or 20 minutes, it's insanity. It's awesome. Yeah. And it looks amazing. But I'll talk about my series that I ended up watching, which I think I ended up doing this last year or the year before. I watched the Scream series, which...
Yeah, I think you've talked about it, but not like on here, but I think we've talked about you having went through it.
I'm going to make this statement now. It is the greatest slasher franchise of all time.
Just because of how satirical it is?
No, I honestly got a little annoyed with the satire meta humor in the later movies. I think it's kind of the weakest point in some of the later ones, but I think consistently, because horror movies are historically, once they get down in the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like all the like Jason and Freddy Krueger movies, it gets really bad. These ones, I think even the later ones that I don't like as much, I think are still like pretty high quality, like good, like modern slasher movies that I think they do a pretty good job in like making them modern compared to like the OG 90s movie. But that first one I think is just just a hitter. It's very, very good. I mean, all of them are just these whodunit mystery slashers. They start out with like an awesome little intro, like a little stinger at the beginning. Obviously, the original had Drew Barrymore, the classic what's your favorite scary movie? That whole scene's awesome. The cast, I think, is great. I would say the first three are still probably my favorite. I mean, the first two I think are legitimately like good movies. And then I think like the later ones I think really struggle with going too far on the meta like modern stuff. That's why I did enjoy the fourth one a little bit more than some of the newer ones, because like it sort of rebooted the series because I think it was 11 years after Scream 3. So they did take a little bit.
When did number 4 come out? That one's pretty recent, right? Like last 10 years?
Number 4 came out in 2011.
Oh, maybe. Trying to think of. So wait, which one came out? Let me just look up all the Scream movies, because the only ones I've really watched. Oh yeah, I have not seen this one. This has Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah. The cast is
Allison Brie's in it. Kristen Bell?
Yeah.
What? It looks like what's her face? Julia Roberts, like
Emma Roberts is in it.
Emma Roberts. Yeah, she's in it.
Adam Brody's in it. Rory Culkin's in it. Yeah, and then the original cast.
Yeah, I mean,
so here's my problem with the new ones. By the way, no one fucking dies. It's so frustrating. So the jock on the main cast gets stabbed, I think, a total of 1 million times in the last 2 films. He's okay. He's fine. And then he's completely fine. And then I'm not super into this. Like, I mean, some of the lines from the last 2 ones are just some of the cringiest lines I've heard.
Wait, how many Scream movies are there?
6. There's 6 now.
There's only 6? Okay.
The new cast I just don't like that much. Like the main actress, like the girl, the It girl, is not very good.
Yeah, I've seen Scream 2022, which they did that dumb thing when they're like, we're just gonna call it Scream again because we're rebooting it.
What was the line? I think I wrote it in one of my reviews. Where is it? No,
it must be from the new one, because
it was one of the newer ones. The line was like, you don't fuck with the serial killer's daughter. And then her whole thing is like, she just stabs people 1 million times, and it's just comical. Yeah, the actress that plays her, which I guess there's a lot of drama behind the scenes with that, because I'm pretty sure it was around like being pro-Palestine or some shit. So I think she got kicked off, and then Jenna Ortega slowly followed behind her, which again, I'm going to argue that I think they should just take that main actress out, and they should have just made it a Jenna Ortega like series. She's, I think, probably the best in it. And the rest of the cast is fine, whatever. Again, I think 4 is probably the best out of the newer one, but those like last 2, the last one, number 6, I think I really like that they sort of went out of like, from 5 they went back to the old house, the original house, and they made it all meta and bullshit.
Yeah,
and it was a little frustrating and annoying. The new one like was set in like New York. There's like some pretty cool set pieces with like a theater, the subway, and some other parts of New York and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. It was like, it was a little bit more interesting, and it felt like it was a little bit more different than obviously the last one, because they just went really too hard on the meta stuff with the old cast and stuff like that. And again, no one on the main cast will fucking die, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I think the only one I've ever seen is technically Scream 5 or Scream 2022. I don't know. I thought it was good. I probably should watch the series through sometime, because you brought up the whole like how like the farther out that they go, the more ridiculous most of these slashers become. But like I don't know if you've watched or like read about like Friday the 13th. Like Friday the 13th was only made because of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and how popular it became.
Mm-hmm.
And so people, again, it's like, this is where like with horror, like the horror fandom, I like butt heads with, just because they'll talk about how, I guess what I'm saying is I think it's objective. I think when I speak this, it is an objective fact that these movies are not good. Like they're like, I'm sorry, like they're fun. A roller coaster's fun. Doesn't mean it's like the best damn thing I've ever experienced. Right? It's like the MCU. Like people would argue like, oh well, like they should be winning like Oscars. It's like, no, they fucking shouldn't, dude. Like maybe for CGI for a couple of them, but like no, like they're not like, they're just like mass produced. And that was the thing with Friday the 13th was like, it came out and then we got so many sequels and it was because they were just a cash grab. They were just like, this is the zeitgeist right now. We're going to put out these like slasher movies. We're going to follow a boilerplate, like set, like shot list of like, here's who dies, here's who we have to have in it. And we just need to make sure that they're gruesome kills. And as long as we put like, and then especially like Jason X, come on. Someone's going to talk about at best a good bad movie. At best. That movie makes no fucking sense. Like half of those movies, even all of them. Freddy versus Jason, what? That's literally only because
listen, you grade these movies just on a curve, okay? Like that's the horror genre. You grade the movies on a curve. They're not Oscar baits. Like a 5 out of 5 horror film is probably like a 3 out of 5 of like a normal like drama or anything else. You have to grade them on a curve.
It's just I guess again in the genre I could probably, just with my experience with Scream and just how like the fifth Scream, and I thought it was fun, and what people have said about. Bro, no one will shut up about like the first Scream, like not in a good way. Like people talk about how good of a film it is.
It is. It's good
because it poked fun. It was very self-aware and it poked fun at the genre. So of course, like I can get behind that. Yeah. Because anything that's like kind of making, that's just like good. I don't know.
I love the second one too. I think the second one honestly has the best intro stinger. Is probably one of my favorite. With Jada Pinkett Smith. And
wait, which one was she in?
She's in Scream 2.
Oh, number 2.
Yeah, it's like based on, like they're making a movie based around the events of the first movie, and she goes to the theater with her boyfriend, who is played by, I forget the actor's name, Omar Epps. Yeah, Omar Epps is in it. So those two are in it. And
okay.
Yeah, it's I love that intro. It's definitely my favorite. Obviously, the first one is a classic, but yeah. And then the third one, I think, goes down a little bit in quality. I still really enjoy Scream 3, but that is sort of the start when they get a little too ridiculous with the meta stuff for my taste. And then it all goes downhill after that. I can still like sort of tolerate it. And again, I grade these movies on a curve. Most of them I think are just very average like movies, but for horror movies, I think they're pretty good. And I think as a collective, it's a very consistent series. They're super fun. They're not like super annoying, and they don't go too far in the ridiculous realm. But definitely, and they're also like none of them are like super long. So like they're just like nice little like less than 2 hour watches. So definitely recommend.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just like, I'm looking at like the release gap between them. So like 96 is Scream 1.
Yeah.
97 Scream 2. Okay, that makes sense because of how successful
they're like in college after that. I think it's
they just kind of pushed it out. Yeah. Now we go to 3 years, Scream 3. That's respectable. It's respectable 3 years to produce and put it out, especially because if you already shit out like number 2 in a year, like
and then it's a year,
like that's kind of weird.
11 years later.
Now, I was gonna say, then you go to Scream 4, which is 11 years later, which you were saying is like a reboot. Which
no, I think that one is technically a sequel to the or what do they call it? Scream 4. What do they call it? There's also like meta humor with all that stuff too.
10 years have passed. Sidney Prescott's put herself back together thanks to her writing. However, her return to Woodsboro sparks the return of the Ghostface Killer.
Yeah, so this one is, again, it's a sequel because it doesn't like reboot the cast. So the original cast is still there. And
I mean, some of them. You have Sydney, and then you have...
Yeah, but as in, like, Sydney is still, like, the main it girl.
Isn't she through most of them?
Last two, no. That's why, like, Scream 4 is its own little thing. It's like, it's the finalization of her story, basically.
No, but she comes back in Scream. She's definitely in Scream 5.
She comes back, but she's just like...
She's like the protector. Yeah, she's not the main focus.
And that's why they probably renamed it just Scream. It's not Scream 5. It's just called Scream.
Yeah, because then after that, so you have Scream 4 in 2011. Then we go 11 years later and go to Scream 2022. And then, I feel like a year later, Scream 6. Like,
yeah.
So, like, I think... I don't know. I think that's good for them. I think as long as they're fun, that is kind of the main point. So maybe I am just being too critical on something that's just supposed to be a fun time. I would say I'm more interested in watching Scream than I am probably any other like slasher film.
It's
especially after Terrifier.
Yeah.
Like Terrifier was like, I don't know, because I feel like Terrifier is like it's like the people who watch slashers and they're like, I want something really brutal. Like I want something like I have to have like the most brutal like killings. Like they couldn't get enough watching like Ghostface or someone like stab the shit out of somebody. They had to watch a woman get hacksawed down the middle. And they went to see it. And like I said, that is where you kind of, I actually think like Terrifier makes me appreciate traditional slashers more, because even with like a ridiculous story, like the acting is better. Because I'll straight up, the acting is not very good. And in Terrifier, just, I mean, you see, like I said, B movie. It's a B movie. But the acting's not that great. And like you're only there for the kills. And it does kind of feel like redundant. You're just like, okay. Like
just gore porn.
We're doing this. Like just, yeah, it's absolutely just torture porn, gore porn. And it kind of makes you like, because like people will say, right, they'll say the same thing about like Scream or something like, oh yeah, it's just about the kills. Yeah, it is, but there's at least a story that I care about. There is a story in Terrifier, but it's just like kind of ridiculous. Like it's I don't know how I would even put it. Like the main character is like this angelic warrior now, like that her dad was part of like an order that knew about it and trained her. And so now like she has to battle Art the Clown, and he had the sword, and she gets the sword, and now the sword's not there because her niece is now in hell because she fell through a portal in the third one, and now she has the sword with her. So like who knows, man? This is a movie where a demon woman masturbates with a shard of glass. Like that's, yeah. She literally like in the first like 20 minutes, like when she gets reincarnated and they kill, like she takes a shard of glass and sticks it up her hoo-ha and gets off to Art the Clown killing this guy, and just blood everywhere. And it's just like,
you've convinced me. I'm down.
You're gonna watch them?
Yeah, I'll take a.
The first two are definitely, they're on Amazon Prime, so you can watch them on Prime Video free. That's why I watched them, because I was like, oh, I'll just like knock these out, because Jess is never gonna touch it. She's like, I have no interest, right? So that was part of the reason why I watched Terrifier, was because like, oh yeah, I can watch. This is a safe watch. Jess isn't gonna get mad at me at all. And then the third one, I was like, oh, it's in theaters right now. And it's, and I've never watched an NC-17 film in theaters. So I was like, yeah, I want to go watch it. And I wasn't disappointed by it, but it's definitely for a very like viewer.
The horror fans, yes.
Like the horror fans,
Yes,
which I
yes,
say that
yeah.
because it's not like I wouldn't call it. It's like the gorer fans or something. Like it's not horror. You can watch it and you're not scared. It doesn't feel that oppressive. Like the things I attribute to horror, which again, even looking at like something like Scream, they like you feel unsafe. Like you when you're watching it, like the it's like especially like also after playing like Dead Space, and kind of getting more reacquainted with survival horror. Shout out if you guys want to watch Late to the Game, go check it out. But like it made me think about horror as just the genre and what I took away from it, and it really is like a sense of oppression from like your surroundings, this looming dread and fear. In this case, like with most slashers, like potentially being stalked, right? Or like being stalked and like someone's coming after you. I guess yes. Like Terrifier has that, but like I never really was scared for any of them. I was just like, how are they all gonna die? Like that's the main thing, is like they're all gonna end up dying. That's what this movie is about. Where I don't know. I think especially like not to take on like more like movies, but to talk about something like what do we talk about? What's a good? Oh, well, I mean, we talked about Blair Witch, right? Like Blair Witch is extremely ominous. Like they have no fucking clue what's going on. They honestly are out there looking for fucking Sasquatch. Like they're out here, like they're like, oh, this will be fun, and then weird things start happening, and it's extremely unsettling. And I'm not really unsettled by anything in Terrifier other than the gory kills, right? I'm saying like everything around it is like, I don't want to say I wouldn't call it horror. It absolutely is. It's just it's torture porn. It's gore porn. It's not like it's weird to call it horror, but especially in the same podcast episode where we're talking about like the Blair Witch, where like I think the Blair Witch really encompasses like really great horror like storytelling, like a very great like a great setting for it. I don't know, like that's why like Terrifier, yes, it's gory, it's horrific what's happening to him, right? But it's really just gore for the sake of gore. It's not really, again, the story's not there. Like, yeah, it's cat and mouse, like, and then the mouse gets a magical sword. And that's when you compare it to Scream, I'm sure, or even other like hack and slash slasher films.
Yeah.
There's a deeper sense, like there's something more ominous and like why they're trying to figure out why it's happening, where I guess that's kind of in Terrifier too, but like not really. You're really just there to see him die. So
all right,
sorry for rambling.
All as well. But I think that wraps up sort of our horror watches of October. We are about almost a week and a half into November. So let's wrap up the episode here. And I thought we could do like sort of a, blaze through some of the recent watches that we've had on our list just to sort of round out the episode. So anything post horror month that you've watched, just some quick reviews and suggestions.
I have to get my letterbox out real fast.
Yeah.
Shit.
I can get going here first. A movie that I watched that I would definitely suggest for you to watch if you're an Anna Kendrick fan. I watched her directorial debut, Woman of the Hour. It's on Netflix. Not super long. It's an hour and a half. I thought it was actually pretty fantastic. It is like sort of centered around her on this like game show. It's set in the 70s. Talks a lot about sort of the way like Hollywood treats women, especially at this time and stuff like that. And it's centered around a couple characters, and it sort of all connects towards the end around basically like a dating game killer. But this guy basically seeks out, I would assume, like sort of depressed women, and basically sort of woos them and then kills them. That's pretty much it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, it is based on a true story of a serial killer, Rodney Alcala. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. But yeah, he had a very big murder spree, I guess. So this is based off of his appearance on the show The Dating Game. So yeah, based in the 70s, directorial debut of from Anna Kendrick. I thought the cinematography was really good, and I really liked the look of the movie. They did a really good job with giving it that 70s look. Big fan of this one. Definitely suggest it. I ended up giving it a 3.5.
Oh, fuck, dude. You've watched wait, did you watch Heretic yet?
Yeah, I watched that a couple days ago.
Damn, I want to wait. You went in theaters? Fuck,
yeah.
I didn't mean to derail. And you saw We Live in Time?
Yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah,
I am.
Yeah.
And you saw freaking Transformers 1. We already talked about that. Damn, dude. Those are two I'm wanting to watch. I don't think I can watch them anymore because I was just so fucking busy.
Yeah, We Live in Time definitely suggests that one. This one I definitely is, I think, carried by Florence Pugh. She was fantastic.
Oh, really?
In it. Yeah, she I think carries it.
You don't think Andrew Garfield showed up?
I think he's good. I just don't think he really has a lot of stuff to do, I guess. He's very cute, basically. Like, he's just like I just want to hug him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a nice it's about she's like an up and coming chef, so it sort of plays into what she can do in real life because she does several like a cooking show on her Instagram and stuff. So and Andrew Garfield plays like a divorcee, and they sort of meet up and stuff like that, and they just goes through their short lived life because she ends up having. I mean, should I spoil this? Does it matter to you? Do you care?
You can spoil it. That's fine.
I mean, I won't.
I'll watch this one. No, you can. That's fine.
Well, she has cancer, bro.
That fucking makes sense.
Stuff. And she's like this, like, she's not somebody that like wanted like what I get from it, like marriage and kids and stuff like that. But she, they fall in love, yada yada yada, to have a kid. But then like her like desire to be like the best chef and stuff, there's like it's centered around a little bit of like this competition show, and then in the end basically she's like, well, family's the most important, and then she dies.
Damn, dude.
It's pretty good. I wouldn't say really good. It wasn't like breathtaking, but it was very nicely done, very cute.
Like in comparison to like Grown Ups 2, what do you think? How do you think it stacks up?
I think Grown Ups 2 is the biggest pile of shit I've seen in a long time, and I like like Grown Ups 1. I think it's kind of funny. It's fine. But my lord, it quickly goes downhill in the second one. And I don't mind Nick Swardson, but Jesus Christ, he's awful in this. What else did I watch? I watched Little Giants the other day.
Oh, really?
Big fan of
How
this
was
one.
that?
I missed this one, man. I remember watching this one growing up. This one, it holds up. I think it's super cute and very family friendly. Way better than Grown Ups 2.
Way better than Grown Ups 2.
Yeah,
I mean,
it stars Rick Moranis, has Ed O'Neill in it, Devin Sawa as a kid, some other people that you may know somewhere in there. But yeah, this one, Little Giants, is still cute. It holds up. Ooh, another one that I wanted to point out was Running on Empty. This is one of River Phoenix's movies. This one is by Sidney Lumet, who did 12 Angry Men. This one I think is pretty good. I've been wanting to watch this one for a little bit because I had watched Stand By Me like a month or so ago and was really blown away by River Phoenix. I thought he was great. He's great in this one too. So this one I thought was really interesting.
Wait, River Phoenix? Oh, like the older brother of Joaquin?
I think older brother, right? Yeah.
Because he was the one in Stand By Me. Because he ends up, he passed away. Like,
yeah.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this one's just centered around like I'm going to call him like a hippie couple who are on the run from the FBI, and basically it's about the struggle of like River Phoenix and him wanting to sort of break out of that like fugitive lifestyle, because this couple has 2 kids that they've been on the run ever since the youngest one has been born, and I think River Phoenix at the time was pretty young when they started. It was like an anti-war protest bombing of some laboratory, and so the movie is just like them going from at the beginning they were in a town and then they almost get caught and they run off again and stuff, and hold up somewhere else and try to live their life. And them it sort of shows them as like a family and stuff, and they're not like unhappy or anything like that, but like you can tell like he's growing up and wanting to sort of start a life and stuff like that, and it's about like the parents sort of accepting that and letting him go basically. Oh
man,
yeah, it's really good. I definitely would suggest this. This one's from '88. River Phoenix is great in it. It stars two actors. Oh wait, I know who Judd Hirsch is. I've heard of him before, but the other ones I have never really heard of. The actress in it, the love interest, is what's her name?
Bro, I'm jealous of your grind, dude. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm like, what? I'm like looking at how many movies you've knocked out in like the last like month. You already cleared like your 300 for the year, but like, my God, man, you are still like clearing them. You fucking watch Unfriended?
I told you my horror month was honestly kind of shit. Like,
what the? I was gonna say, what the fuck were you on with your horror month?
Yeah,
you like
all
you
over the place.
You got fucking all right. So you have, yeah, it's like okay, I see some good. All right, I'm like I can tell where it goes. Okay, so like
yeah, I have some
Jesus
good ones on there.
Christ. So it like pretty much starts with Red Dragon.
Yeah,
Candyman, then Virgin Suicides for Homework, As Above, So Below, fucking The People Under the Stairs,
good
which
movie.
is like I've heard about it. Like
yeah.
Fucking Halloween 2007, which honestly pretty mid, but like you know it wasn't bad. Like I'm there with it.
Honestly,
Texas
underrated.
Chainsaw Massacre. You think it's overrated?
I think Rob Zombie's Halloween is underrated. Yeah.
Oh, underrated.
Yeah.
I think they tried to do too much with Michael. I'll stick by that.
Outside of the intro, because the intro, like I used to like it. I despise it now. The like build up, but once he gets into Michael Myers like adult, I think is great. I think
like
the brutality and like the way how monstrous he makes Michael, I think is the best out of the entire.
Yeah, I think that's
franchise.
cool. I just don't want to know about Michael.
Yeah,
I think that's my biggest thing.
It's the
like people
weakest part
need
of the
to,
movie.
especially with these like slasher films, like people just need to stop when it comes to like directors need to just like writers need to stop trying to give like a backstory to them. Like the whole thing that makes them scary is that no one knows about them. So like just get to the part where like Michael's killing people.
Yeah.
Like just like don't get me wrong, protagonist, put them in there and talk about whatever their life is and why Michael might have interest in it. I don't need to see him in a psych ward. I don't need to see him as a kid. I don't care about any of that. So that's where I do think like that intro, I think that whole beginning part, no matter how short or long it is,
it's too
I can't
long.
remember.
It's like a half an hour.
I think like deservedly so. Like you give it like a 2.5, which I've been trying to only rate movies whenever I watch them again on Letterboxd instead of just like going through like that's what I think because I want to like have a more accurate like ranking.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah.
But like just from my memory of Rob Zombie's Halloween, like a 2.5 is probably perfect because that intro, that intro holds it back from being like a 3 or 4, in my opinion. Somewhere in there, like that intro, like I did not give a shit. I honestly think it was just an excuse for him to put his wife into the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like I think he just finds actually to his detriment, he just finds. I don't care how attractive his wife is, he just finds excuses to put her in to his movies, and it's almost like on the annoying like formerly with like shit. Why am I so bad with names? It's just age. Like, is the aspartame I've digested in my life finally taking effect? But Nightmare Before Christmas. Holy crap. Of course.
Let's see if you can get this.
I don't think I can.
I'm not gonna help you. I don't
Oh my god, Beetlejuice. Why am I crashing out? Why am I crashing out? Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, that's another one.
Why am I crashing out like this? I think
Anything else?
Is this the beginning? Are these the early stages of like fucking dementia? Like, am I suffering right now? Yeah, which you watched in this as well.
I did.
But why can I not? Why can I not fucking think? Oh, Tim Burton.
There you go.
Holy shit. But yeah, Tim Burton. Whenever he was putting his former wife and fucking everything. Good old Bellatrix Lestrange. I don't remember her name at all. Maybe Helena Bonham Carter. Yeah. Okay, never mind. You got me there. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, Haunting in Connecticut. Ouija. Shit. Sweeney Todd. The Ring. Solid. Blair Witch Project. Solid. As we said. Unfriended. What the fuck? Then Gerald's Game. You just like... I just don't get how you cleared so many. I'm jealous, dude. Anyway, I could go on about that for a minute. As far as like, I didn't get to watch it counter to how many you cleared in this like last like couple of weeks. I got nowhere near that. I literally only watched the Terrifier trilogy, and right now I'm watching. We started it, but then we like Dakota kind of like we had to put her down and stuff yesterday. Not put her down, but like go to sleep, and she kind of it got a little late because I'm a fucking like dad now, which is nuts. But we're about halfway through House Moving Castle, which I think I needed. I just wanted something. I just wanted something like very light to kind of like digest and to talk about or to watch. All the Ghibli movies I think are great for that. I mean, they really are just Japanese like Disney. I mean, I think Disney even does all of the dubs, the American dub. For all of them, they use at least their studio. And maybe do the outsource. They might outsource to like Disney, like controls that. I forget how it works, but I'm pretty sure Disney's in charge of it. So those are really high quality dubs. And I don't know. I always recommend like I don't think you can go wrong with Ghibli movies if you're just wanting something, light to watch. Except it's been years since I've watched it, but like Graveyard of the Fireflies, like I would if you're wanting something light. And kind of like, I wouldn't watch Graveyard of the Fireflies for that. That one's it's a pretty deep one that was based around the bombings on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So
I gotta admit something. I've never watched any of these movies.
And that's I don't think like
I've been wanting to. I have The Boy in the Heron on 4K. I was ready to watch it.
I think if I were to watch any of them, I think I would recommend, because I say this, I've only watched a handful of them. I'm actually trying to pull up a list right now for like
there's Spirited Away, which I haven't.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say like Spirited. I think Spirited Away is probably the one I would start out on for people. Nausicaa. No, not Nausicaa. Which one have I?
Princess Mononoke. Ponyo?
Princess Mononoke is the most popular. Princess Mononoke is probably like the closest. The thing is, I feel like if I'm going to recommend it, I would. Everyone goes with My Neighbor Totoro. I think everyone should watch. I think watching all of them is probably a great idea.
That's the plan.
I haven't watched Nausicaa. Castle in the Sky. I haven't. I've only watched. Like Grave of the Fireflies, Spirited Away, Tales from Earthsea, Princess Mononoke, and Howl's Moving Castle, which Howl's Moving Castle fucks. Like I am a fan. And it's kind of cool watching it with Jess because she even admitted, she's like, I've only seen parts of Ghibli movies, but I've never sat down and watched them. I really think, especially because I forget when they went to digital, but like everything was hand drawn up until maybe Howl's Moving Castle might have been digital. Like I know Spirited Away, I'm pretty sure was all hand drawn, because they were very strict on like how they Hayao Miyazaki, like Hayao Miyazaki. I'm butchering that. I'm so sorry, but it was always very like, I don't want to say he just didn't want to adopt, technology, but I just think like the art for him was a big deal, and being like involved at that level with each scene, even if it meant doing it like, having hundreds of thousands of pictures that you're drawing by hand. I don't know. I don't know the process at all, but I remember it was a big deal whenever they finally went over to like using digital I don't even know how they would do it. I think they just started using digital tools just to like speed up the process. That being said, yeah, I do want to watch The Boy and the Heron because it is on Max now. All of the Ghibli films are on Max. I couldn't recommend them enough just for like a good animated adventure. So
yeah, they look good. Like I love the look of them. Just never got.
I think the earlier ones. That's why like Princess Mononoke would probably be a really good one to start off with, because it's the message is very much just like centered around I guess environmentalism, right? Like the people, like Princess Mononoke and like her, like the wolf spirits and the wolves are trying to like defend the forest from industrialization. Like these people are cutting down the trees and industrializing, and they're fighting against it. There's more to it than that, but like that's like the main gist of the story. I actually saw it in theaters because at least AMC does. Well, I think Regal does them too. Like the Fathom events. Like there's a company like the Fathom company.
Yeah.
So they usually just do like events throughout the year for like theaters to buy up, or like they'll work a deal with a theater so they can use their theaters to like show. And like Ghibli, like they'll do like 2 of them a month throughout like the year. Like they just always will play Ghibli films, which I was very grateful that I could watch Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke. Actually, I went with Haley and watched it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went and watched at least Spirited Away, I think. Yeah, we went and watched Spirited Away when I was in Florida. And I went with my other friend to saw Princess Mononoke in theater. So
yeah, I've been wanting to catch some of those Fathom events that we have around here too. They pop up, like they had like Harry Potter a couple times. They've had some other stuff that I wanted to catch, like some stuff that I've never saw in theaters that I wish I did. I'm
definitely glad they exist because I went and saw the extent. I think I've talked about it on here before. I went and saw the extended versions of the Lord of the Rings trilogy like 3 nights in a row. When I was like probably a year or two ago, because of a Fathom event. I saw him in IMAX. That was like, or it was like RPX or whatever, like the Regal version of it, whatever. But I went and saw those, and it was super. It was just awesome to go and not only watch like the Lord of the Rings again in theaters, but to see the extended cuts. Yeah. And another part of that is like it was a pretty packed theater, and it was a bunch of people who just want, like, just fans, right? Like either people that really love the movies and wanted to see them on the big screen again, or people that, wanted, really, I think it is only people that have seen them and just love them and wanted to see them on the Silver Scream. And that's, I think, what the Fathom events are really there for, is like, hey, you guys have some downtime. Could we just like take one of your theaters to have this like special event? Like it'll probably sell tickets because there's like a devout fan base. Like people love Ghibli films. So like you can put a Ghibli film into a theater and there's probably a significant number of people that would go, especially with like Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle. There's plenty of people that would be like, I would love to have the chance to go see that in the theaters. So I'm for them. Definitely a fan of the Fathom events.
Yeah.
So, or at least the ones I've seen.
Yeah, I just saw that they had one for our theater here for like December 6th. So I might try and go catch that.
For which one?
My Friend Totoro.
Oh shit! Or My Neighbor Totoro.
My Neighbor. Yeah,
they're actually doing like Ghibli there. I did not realize they're actually.
It's not the only time they've done it. Like I've seen some other stuff there. I've been wanting to catch.
Well, I don't know how they do it. Like I just thought AMC did like the Ghibli ones. I didn't think Regal was getting in on it, but like My Neighbor Totoro is like definitely the most popular, and I think it's very short. I think it's only like a half hour.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an hour and a half. If I remember correctly, it's more of just like a slice of life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's really much to it other than just watching a cute kid run around with this like spirit, this like forest spirit just around town. I actually wouldn't mind watching it myself. So,
all right, let's wrap her on up. We need to do a homework. We talked a little bit about this before, but I guess we never really came to. Do we just want to pick a movie? Do you have an idea? I kind of have an idea.
I think so. For those who are listening, we usually give each other a movie to watch that we talk about. I think what we're going to do now, instead of each of us giving a movie to each other, I think we're just going to do. I think it'd be best if we just did one movie that we both watch. I don't have anything coming to mind, so I would definitely be open to hear what you say, and I'm probably going to be down with it.
My original idea before we talked about it before the podcast was more of a theme that I wanted to like challenge both of us to do, and to come back next time, and we would just talk about that one movie. I didn't have like a specific movie on my mind though.
Okay. So I was just thinking, because even though it doesn't matter how much we try to streamline this, I'm probably going to ramble about some bullshit that that probably extends the episode out longer than it needs to. But what theme do you have? And we'll see what we can go from there.
Okay, well, since the election was recent, I thought it would be kind of cool to do like who like we would find like the best on-screen president.
Okay.
I thought that would be kind of fun.
Like, you mean watch a movie that has a president involved?
Yeah, but like I not like just one that's like kind of just off screen, but like something that's a little bit, it's more centered around that president. Like White House Down or something. Like,
oh, so I can't say Nick Offerman?
I mean, I guess you could.
No, I'm just thinking about Civil War and how it was like. But it was just literally like a fucking minute.
Like, what would I? What's the one movie? Idiocracy. I probably wouldn't count that, right? Like, yeah, there's a president in it, and it's goofy, but it's. I'm thinking like a movie like JFK or something.
So you're wanting to either watch something like Lincoln, like based in history, or like Tom Clancy novel.
But like I'm wanting to find the best, what we think is the best on-screen president.
All right, so the next episode, whenever we put it out, is going to be around Christmas time. So I was hoping that we could do something Christmas related.
Yeah,
I mean, right? Because this episode's going to be.
Hey man, the inauguration's on until January, so we can wait until January.
Yeah, we can make it January. I'm down to push it to January.
We can do
the next episode
January 6th
that we're talking about right now is going to be the third, like either the second or the fourth week of December. So if we're going to do something Christmas related, like Christmas related homework, this could be hard, but like it popped into my head, but we could watch every iteration of the Christmas Carol movies and just talk about why the Muppets Christmas Carol is the best.
The goated one, yeah.
But like, I guess because I've only watched a couple of them, but I know there's like a million. How many Christmas Carol movies are there?
We could do
there's
what
so
we
many.
think is the best subgenre for Christmas movies.
Like,
so we
what?
have like Christmas dramedies, you have like Christmas adventure movies, you have like your family movies, you have your Christmas like thriller horror movies.
Okay. I think we could go with sorry, I'm like caught up in looking at all the Christmas Carol movies that are listed in Letterboxd. I'm like, God damn, there really are so many. And it's like Scrooge adjacent too, right? Because you have like Scrooge. I really wanted to do like, what if I just look up like, so you're wanting to do like a subgenre of like Christmas plus like adventure, kind of like Red One, like Red One's out.
And I also want to do like in my head, I have like a theme of like Never Have I Ever, like let's watch a Christmas movie that like neither of us, like we have never watched or something. So I'm always trying to seek out movies I have never watched.
Yeah. I wonder if I can like, actually, let me just ask ChatGPT. Let's just like do this. Dear ChatGPT, would you please pick a random family Christmas movie for my friend and I to watch. We would like for it to be family oriented. Do we want live action or do we care about that? Do we want animated?
No,
like,
I don't care.
what's
Okay with that.
You don't care?
Yeah, let's go for it.
all right? Cool. I'm just gonna run it. We'll see what he does. Man, how the fuck are you gonna hit me with Elf? You motherfucker. The first one that pops up is Elf. You know what? We're not doing Elf. Everyone's done Elf. I watch Elf every year. Jess and I we're gonna watch Elf. That's gonna be every year. Then we're not doing that. I'm gonna say, how about something that's not as popular? We're trying to expand our horizons. Got it. How about Arthur Christmas from 2011? Is this the one from, what the fuck is this one from? I mean, I'm kind of down if, fuck. Arthur Christmas. What
if we did like
wait, have you ever watched Arthur Christmas? What the fuck is this?
Arthur Christmas? Isn't that newer?
Yeah. 2011.
Yeah.
James McAvoy, Hugh Lowry.
I've seen a little bit of it.
Would you want me to re-roll?
Yeah.
How about something more obscure?
I'm trying to think of something a little bit older.
Something a little bit older. What decade?
Anything before, let's say, the 90s.
Something from the 90s or before. Okay. Consider One Magic Christmas. This lesser-known gem is a heartfelt story about a struggling mother who rediscovers the true meaning of Christmas with the help of a guardian angel. It's a touching, slightly melancholic tale with a strong message of family, hope, and holiday spirit. Perfect if you're someone looking for something different.
Let's do it.
Usual festival. I want to look it up.
I saw the actress
One
in
Magic
it, I'm
Christmas.
It has Henry Dean Stanton in it. It has Mary Steenburgen. I'm down.
I've never. Who's? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Once you see the faces, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never. So where are we just gonna turn? Are we just gonna turn like the homework segment now into like Chat GPT tell us what to watch?
Sure.
I'm kind of down.
Let's
because
do
like
it.
like movies GPT or something. Because yeah, this is. I'm down.
Yeah,
One Magic Christmas.
One Magic
I'm
Christmas.
down.
All right, so by the time you watch this episode and then watch the next episode, it will be that.
Which you all are going to watch this episode and then the next episode because you love us. We're the best movie podcast.
All right.
Even though we ramble.
Wrap us up.
Oh, yeah. Outros. So as you know, Some Damn Movies is not the only thing that we produce here. We actually have been trying to find a little bit of a cadence, a little bit of a rhythm, trying to get a little consistent on this channel, meaning YouTube, and we only have the pod. So if you're more of a podcast consumer, this is all we got for you. I'm sorry about that. However, if you like videos and you want quality videos from two rather handsome gentlemen, please check out youtube.com/@somedamnchannel. Again, I am Ian. With us today, and Jared, of course, is hosting this gem. Our primary like product. The things we produce mostly. It's been a little tumultuous, I have to admit, but like we are like right now, I'm focusing on a series called Spicy Book Club because I really want to read more. And I've been reading a lot this year, actually, and I want to talk about it more. So, and of course, there has to be a gimmick. So I eat a spicy chicken tender, which fucked me up, by the way, on the last episode. Like afterwards, I broke out into a sweat. Like it was like molten lava. Jess was actually worried. She went and got me Tums. It was bad. So I'm out here suffering for the views. But I'm working on that. And then my other kind of, I call it like not an art piece, but something I put a little bit more effort into and I cook longer is Late to the Game. There's a little bit more to it and there's a little bit more involved as far as producing it, where I just play. It's a series where I play a game from my Steam backlog and I just give it a really good shot. Like I try to beat the game, which is kind of why it takes me longer. I don't like to just put a handful of hours in and have like an incomplete like impression of the game. So that's kind of like on a 1 or 2 month kind of cook time. And then Jared's been putting out, well, he's the main force behind Some Damn Movies and wherever it is released to, meaning Spotify and iTunes. So shout out to him. But then he also has been working. I mean, I know it's challenge related. I don't think you're confined to just challenges though, right? Like, or what is your main goal? Is it just challenge? From what we've talked about, I think it's just challenges.
I would just this series right now that I'm actively working on and trying to be consistent with, which is like monthly releases just for now. Again, when you're wanting to get into a habit, start small, guys. And that's the biggest what we're really trying to hammer in on this like recoming of Some Damn Channel, which is like the 90th iteration of it.
I mean, it's like the third, yeah, but it feels like the 90th.
Yeah, we're like slowly but surely trying to get back into it, but like, we both have lives. We're both adults. We're both in our 30s. You're a parent now, so we gotta slowly build.
And we both have pretty demanding jobs that make us go everywhere. So like, yeah, that's why like for me, like some Spicy Book Club's I could knock out an episode of Spicy Book Club in like. I literally like the last episode that came out, I knocked out in an evening. So it's something way more tangible for me to even put out like a good quality product, a good quality video. And I think like something like kind of the same with the podcast as well. It's very accessible that we can be consistent with. And like Some Damn Challenge and like Late to the Game for me are something we try to cook a little bit longer. But our main goal right now for this phase of Some Damn Channel is just getting stuff out weekly. we just really want to try to like just being consistent on that level. We are working on another series, or at least I'm trying to work on one. We've been wanting to do a cooking like series we've been talking about it since like probably the second iteration of Some Damn Channel. And that I think we're going to do I'm tentatively calling it Prepped, but pretty much we're both, I'm a bigger boy. Jared's thinning out, but we both got a little bit. We're on that grind to get in better shape. We want to look better. We want to feel better. So we've been doing a lot of meal prep, and we both love to cook, or we at least like to cook. So I think we're gonna have like maybe our first collaborative series where we each kind of, we just try to like come up with like a monthly release maybe on, coming up with like a simple like meal prep video. Like rating meal preps. Really, that's my biggest thing, because we might have two different philosophies, because Tony, his girlfriend, is extremely talented cook, chef, I would even say, baker, everything. So he's gonna have like this whole side where I'm a whole different view on like me. I'm very much more for like accessibility and just honestly just trying to make it fast and nutritious. So it'll be interesting, but we're cooking that one right now.
Yeah.
So just make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. Description down below has everything you might want. And I need to stop rambling. Fuck.
That's it. I mean, that's
it.
End of
I think that's the podcast. Y'all have a good one.
We'll do a clap sync at the end, right?
Yeah, clap sync at the end.
Yeah.
Deal.